Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys and offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Luba Workers' Comp, a regional insurance carrier dedicated to providing reliable workers' compensation coverage to employers and workers in 13 states across the Southeast. With personalized service, trusted expertise, and tailored solutions, Luba helps businesses protect what matters most. Discover more at lubawc.com. And by J.P. Morgan Chase, a partner in financial planning. Looking ahead to retirement, growing your business, or for commercial banking, J.P. Morgan Chase offers advice and solutions tailored to individual needs and client well-being. More information is at jpmorganchase.com.
From Mansers on the Boulevard, on Corporate Boulevard in Baton Rouge, we're Out to Lunch with Oscar Tickle, investigative documentarian and owner of Evolution Productions. It's business, Baton Rouge style.
Hi, I'm Oscar Tickle. Welcome to Out to Lunch. Only a particularly hard-hearted human could see a dog or cat in trouble and not want to help. Maybe you'll share a post on social media or maybe make a donation to a shelter. But would you contemplate turning your back on your current career and dedicating your professional life to saving the lives of thousands of pets? That's what JT Hackett did. JT's real name is Jacelyn, but everybody calls her JT. For 12 years, JT was co-owner of Pets Plaza, a pet-focused business that provides services like daycare, boarding, and grooming. That's a business that's focused on fortunate pets. In 2019, JT turned her attention to less fortunate pets when she became the director of programs at Baton Rouge's Companion Animal Alliance. The Alliance is a center that takes in over 9,000 stray or abandoned animals a year. In 2024, JT became the organization's executive director. JT Hackett, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you.
I mentioned that JT was co-owner of Pets Plaza. The other co-owner of the business was her husband, Michael Hackett. When the Hacketts sold the business to private equity, Michael turned his attention to other successful ventures. Among them, he bought into the Main Squeeze, a juice franchise that started life in Lake Charles and now has stores spread across the country. In 2021, Michael decided to turn his expertise in business into a business. He founded a consulting company specializing in branding, public relations, business development, and community outreach. The company is simply called Hackett Consulting, and its wide range of clients include Rebuilding Together Baton Rouge, Our Lady of the Lake, and the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. What is as remarkable as the scope of these businesses is the fact that when a company hires Hackett Consulting, they get Michael Hackett. He is the company. Michael Hackett, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thanks for having me.
If I was looking for a definition of overwhelming, I'd say running East Baton Rouge's only animal intake shelter would be it. Let's run through some numbers. You have 56 employees and around 200 volunteers. You take in around 9,000 pets a year. Some days you'll take in 30 to 40 dogs in a single day. You manage around 200 to 300 animals in foster care. Each one of these thousands of animals is a living being with a history, a need for shelter, sustenance, healthcare, and affection, and ultimately, somehow, a happy home. Now, you obviously have a big heart, but you also obviously have some serious management and business skills. Because this is a show about business, let's start there. How much of your day is spent not dealing with animals, but dealing with essentials like managing staff or raising money?
I would say about 80% of my day is that. Whereas it used to be, I was with the animals a lot, so I still try to make time for that because it's important to me. I love seeing all the cute animals that we have. Or I get lonely and I'm like, I need an office pet. So I'll either have like a litter of kittens, recently just had a puppy, so I can't get too far away from them.
Can you describe that 80% a little more in detail?
Oh, goodness.
What's your day-to-day like?
My day-to-day, well, I come in the morning. I look at our animal inventory, how many animals we have for the day, and then I start answering emails here and there, and then answer any questions as people stop by my office, pay bills, all of those types of fun things until it's time to go home.
Now, the city of Baton Rouge changed an ordinance specifically for the Companion Animal Alliance to allow you to operate a mobile unit. What does the mobile unit do?
So yes, that was a big win for us that we are able to treat community animals. So we will take our clinic out and we will go into areas that don't necessarily have access to care for their pets. So we want to provide that to them. And we were awarded a grant that allows us to treat animals at no cost to the person. So we will go out. We have vaccine clinics. We do wellness clinics. Heartworm injections, all of those fun things. They are actually out in the field today trapping cats for spay neuter, and then once they recover, we will release them back to the area.
Now, why wasn't that allowed before? Why did the rule have to change for you guys?
I think it was to protect the veterinarians in private practice, was one of the main reasons.
Now, Michael, sometimes life throws us a curveball. At the time, it can seem like the absolute worst thing that could happen, but in retrospect, the thing that happened brings change in positive ways that at the time would have been unimaginable. After you sold your very successful business, Pets Plaza, in 2018, and while you were deciding on a future course, your life was forever changed by a cancer diagnosis. When treatment worked, the Cancer Center realized they'd saved the life of a person who could help them save lives of others, and asked you to use your talents to help them fundraise, which you did. And that was the start of Hackett Consulting. And as a consultant, you couldn't dream of a better origin story than that. I'm sure being a cancer survivor has forever changed your outlook on life, but how has it changed your outlook on business?
That's a good question. Anytime you go through something like that, I mean, you have to look at the positive aspects of life, and you never know what's around the corner. And so, yes, it did affect my personal life and our personal life together. But as far as business, when your passion and your business world collide, which is kind of exactly what happened, it opens a whole bunch of opportunities that you never even thought were possible. So, anytime you go through a near-death experience or anything like that, a cancer diagnosis, something like that, you really take inventory of your life, and moving forward, your life starts to take purpose in a different way. And with business, you look at businesses in a different way as well, more opportunity to make those two things come together. And so what I do now is a direct result of passion and purpose, and so I think it was just a perfect culmination of those two things.
Speaking of passion and purpose, I want to ask the two of you, kind of start of an open conversation here. I want to know, so what happened with Pets Plaza? Why did you guys decide to sell it?
I will say this, it is a very hard industry to be in. When people are dropping off their animals, they're like their children. And we always worked really hard to take the best possible care of every animal that came through our doors. However, random things would happen. And it's just really stressful. You have to call someone and say, oh, well, Fluffy accidentally, I don't know, I can't even think of anything right now,
got
but just
sick or something
got
that.
sick or something, and it can either go, well, that's your fault, or thanks so much for calling. And so you never know what you're going to get, so you spend a lot of time thinking about what can I do to prevent things like that from happening. So it's constantly worrying.
But also, I mean, I personally had been involved in the business before we were married for 17 years, and it's 365 days, 24/7, nonstop. And we were going to continue to grow, but it was, at the time, private equity was going in this space with veterinarians, and particularly what we did as well. And it was, it just came at the right time, and it was something, quite honestly, we just could not turn down. And so that made it a lot easier. that
Yes.
made a very difficult decision a lot easier, and that we were able to pivot. So, part of the thing that, looking back on that time, that JT and I would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together every single day for 15 years. And that was more of a change for us than actually the business, that we were going in our separate ways business-wise.
Yeah,
that was really hard to overcome.
I was going to ask that too, because you guys worked together all that time. What's it like now to work apart?
It is, now that our kids have gotten older, it's a lot of who's getting who from school, who's got this after school, those types of things. But we always seem to check in with each other throughout the day, just to see how each other's day's
with
going.
what JT does now, and then I'm involved in a lot of nonprofits, and so we're almost kind of working together again in a weird way with my involvement in Furball and the nonprofit side of things, that we collaborate a lot, like every day when we get home, about not just how our individual days are going, like normal husband and wives do, but also just helping each other. We always said we were a really good team, and that still remains true, today, whether it's our personal life or business. Like, we're still a really good team.
Now, when you started Hackett Consulting, how did you go about getting the word around for that?
Well, I didn't worry about it.
Yeah.
This was what my calling was, and I just started it out of necessity, because, I was fundraising, and, when they got to figure out a way to pay you, and so you have to start an LLC, and that's why my name Hackett Consulting is not very creative, and I'm generally a creative person, but I'm not going to change it now. But
Just kind of on the spot.
Yeah,
Hackett Consulting.
They got to figure out a way to pay you, so you better start an LLC. So that's what I did, and then I just got lucky. I got some really great clients from the very get-go. And it's really just expanded into something that has caught like wildfire, and to the point where I don't know what's around the corner with it, but I'm going to sit back and let it happen.
Mm-hmm. And talking about starting something new, what was it that drew you, JT, towards the Companion Animal Alliance? You started as the director of programs, right?
Right. I can never not be with animals. And, it's hard whenever, once we sold, I did stay on. And that transition was very hard for me, for not to be the one who's calling all the shots and, no, this is how we're going to do it. So, the company was great. They were very good to me, but I just wanted more than what I was doing. So I reached out to a friend, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Got an interview for the programs director.
And so what were you doing as the programs director then versus your position now as executive director?
So there was no programs director before I got to CAA. So I helped build that position and grow those programs within it. I started with volunteers, then we added the foster program, then came the transport rescue program, all while doing summer camps during the summer, and also trying to build our humane education program, which is really important. So I had 50% with animals, 50% with people and children. So now it's more people and less animal time. So.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Oscar Tickle. I'm talking with JT Hackett from Companion Animal Alliance and Michael Hackett from Hackett Consulting. Michael, you said you work with nonprofits that happen to work with the Companion Animal Alliance?
Well, hopefully, what I like to do is combine nonprofits the way I combined clients. Like, it's connecting dots. And so, all the nonprofits are going for the same dollars. They're going for the same people. the same. Everybody's mission is very, as long as it's good, wholesome, and well for the community, there's always a lot of overlap and a lot of commonality. So if you can really lean on each other as nonprofits and combine forces, it really tends to work and builds community. But particularly with Companion Animal Alliance, I've been we actually helped start the Fur Ball 13 years ago. In the last 3 years, I've been the MC. And so that is a direct gala that goes, the benefits Companion Animal Alliance. And I mean, this year we raised $450,000 in one night, and all that money goes to CAA. So, like just connecting dots is really important for me. And then bringing business people to the Fur Ball and to CAA, or to any other nonprofit that I'm working with. It's good for like I said, it's good for the community, and it's good for those businesses involved.
Now, I don't know why I'm just now thinking to ask this, but what pets do you guys have in your own house?
Oh, great question. No, we have 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Okay.
They drive Michael a little crazy. Sometimes I may or may not bring home kittens to foster. I'm driving down the road and you hear one squealing in the back. He's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's nothing. Don't worry about it."
During COVID, she brought home, not all at once, thank God, over 30 kittens during COVID. Not all at once. They were like 4 and 5 at a time. And so that, our kids during COVID, there was nothing to do, so we raised kittens, and that's how we passed the time.
We did.
And I was like, finally, when COVID was, getting towards the end, she kept on bringing them home. I was like, listen, pick one.
Cut it off.
And then so we got another cat.
Yeah. But I still bring them home.
Do you find yourself wanting to do that often?
Well, yes, I love it. And my kids love it. So it's also teaching them a lesson in empathy and caring for animals and responsibility that goes into caring for them because they require lots of attention. But during the summertime, we get into what we call kitten season, where we get overwhelmed with neonates and moms and litters and things like that. And so some of them just need that extra TLC. But I love it.
I want to talk about strays for a second. 20 to 30 strays a day, right? In a city like Baton Rouge, it seems, that's a big number?
It is. So last week alone, we took in 250 animals. It is a lot. We do our best to try to return animals to their owners. That's why it's important. We always ask people to microchip or put a collar with a tag on your animal. Some of them are brought in strays by animal control. Some of them are brought in by the public. Or sometimes people have the unfortunate choice that they can no longer care for their animal. And they're trying to do, what's best for them and for the animal.
How has the Alliance expanded operations since you've gotten there?
Oh.
Or capacity?
Goodness, I feel like we've grown so much. We do so many things now. We have a pet reunification specialist where they work solely on basically sleuthing on the internet to try to find people and return their pets to them. We also have a Pets for Life program that goes out, boots on the ground and knocking on doors to areas that, again, lack access to resources and care, to just let them know, to make contact with them and let them know that we're here to help. I mean, it's just grown so much through rescue, transport. We work really closely with the Bissell Pet Foundation. I don't know. There's just so many things. I'm probably forgetting a lot, but yes, it's grown exponentially, I feel like, since I've been there.
Well, Michael, since this is a business podcast, let me ask you, what is your take on the current business ecosystem of Baton Rouge? How have you seen it change over the years?
I mean, I love all the young people being entrepreneurs and coming up with their own things. I mean, that's really exciting. all the great stuff that's happening in Ascension Parish right now, whether it's, the Hyundai steel plant that's coming and other things that are coming. I mean, I think and I feel it that Baton Rouge is on the cusp of really great things. Where I don't know if I'd have said that several years ago. I don't think I would have. I really feel positive about what's going on, and people are starting to move, and things are happening. So, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but I can honestly say I really feel good about it.
So you don't just have Hackett Consulting, right? Like you have a main squeeze location. Seems, when I'm reading the list of things you do, it seems like kind of random to me.
Right. Yeah.
It was random. It came, JT's laughing. So it must have been a random occurrence.
Completely random. And then who I work with is completely random. I like that aspect, being in I guess you could call it a fast service restaurant, and then I'm in healthcare, and then AI, and Baton Rouge Area Chamber, and an automobile dealership, and like that is what makes life exciting. It's you wake up every day and it's something new and different. So yeah, it is random, but I find it very fun.
Now, I alluded a little to, or I guess we've kind of talked about it more in depth. After your recovery, right, the place that you were at asked for help fundraising. Can you describe like how that went about a little more?
Yeah, I had simply, stage 3 colon cancer, which affects usually men, not all the time, but it's a number. Don't quote me, but it's number top 2 killers in men as far as cancer, maybe number 1. I don't really know. But it's an easy story to tell to men in their 40s that watch out for the symptoms. I mean, it was just you get passionate about what you go through, and for men in general, men don't do a great job of taking care of themselves, and I'm a prime example of that. Women do an excellent job of taking care of themselves, going to see the doctor. Men ignore the doctor. Men are scared of going to their primary care doctor, which makes no sense, but they are. Yeah. And so when you mix an opportunity and passion and experience and put it all together, and out comes the idea that you could fundraise and teach people about why it's so important to take care of yourself, especially men.
How'd that first fundraiser go for you?
It was great. You just get up there and tell your story.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And be honest and authentic and tell the story. And, if you leave there, like anything, if you make it about the good and not about money, the money will come eventually.
Yeah.
Because if you're just telling your story and being real, and the money will come. It's like anything. You just be a real person and don't try to mess people over. It'll come to you.
Now, I want to go back to the Companion Animal Alliance, right? The survival rate, the save rate of these animals has gone up from 20 to 80% since you started there.
It was on that trend before I got there, so I can't take all the credit. But yeah, everyone there works really, really hard to get as many positive outcomes for these animals as possible. We are constantly trying to learn new things, change the way we do things. We're always trying to grow and do better. So I'm very lucky and fortunate in that aspect.
Michael, what would you tell the average person in Baton Rouge looking to start their own business? What advice would you give them? Because you said you straight up didn't worry about it, so I don't know.
Well, I worry. She can tell you I worry. But, when it comes down to it, it's all about perseverance. If you believe in it, like, it doesn't matter what you do. If you believe, you're going to go through hard times, pretty miserable times, to be quite honest with you, at moments. But if you simply don't quit, you will come out on top, whatever you want to do. Like that's what we tell our kids. I mean, you can't give up if you're passionate about it. But if you want to give up, that's okay too. But you're obviously not passionate about it. So, it's okay to shift gears. But if you really want something, you have to have a really good idea. You have to be passionate and know that you're going to go through the ringer, but perseverance is the number one thing.
Absolutely. Now, JT and Michael, there are a lot of variations to marriage. There are couples whose marriage is a mystery, who seem to have nothing in common. And on the other end of the spectrum, there are couples like you two who seem to have everything going for them. Typically, we have guests on this show who don't know each other. We invite people to lunch who we think would get along and could benefit professionally from knowing each other. Today, we've worked backwards. We knew you two get along and that you benefit professionally from knowing each other. What we didn't know is that your dedication, not just to each other and to business success, but to higher ideals and to Baton Rouge, is inspiring. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you both for taking the time to join me today on Out to Lunch.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My guests today on Out to Lunch have been JT Hackett, Executive Director of Companion Animal Alliance, and Michael Hackett, Brand and Talent Ambassador at Hackett Consulting. We edited this show to fit into the time slot here on WRKF. You can hear our unedited conversation and find out more about JT's pets and Michael's consulting by listening to the Out to Lunch Baton Rouge podcast. You can find and subscribe to the Out to Lunch Baton Rouge podcast on your podcast app and on our website, itsbatonrouge.la. If you want to know what we all look like, you can find photos from this show on itsbatonrouge.la and on our Out to Lunch Baton Rouge social media. These photos were taken by Ian Lito and Miranda Alvarez. You can find more of Ian and Miranda's photos at albolitomedia.com and at albolitomedia on all socials. Out to Lunch is a production of IONO Broadcasting for itsbatonrouge.la and WRKF 89.3 FM. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Merle. Our associate producers are Peter Raschuti and Ann Edelman. Our researcher is Holly Dutchman. Today's show was engineered by Dylan Babineau. With Stephanie Regal, I'm Oscar Tickle. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to joining you again next week around the lunch table for more business Baton Rouge style on Out to Lunch.
Out to Lunch Baton Rouge is recorded live over lunch at Mansur's on the Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Mansur's is open for lunch daily 11 to 2, for dinner nightly, and for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys and offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Luba Workers' Comp, a regional insurance carrier dedicated to providing reliable workers' compensation coverage to employers and workers in 13 states across the Southeast. With personalized service, trusted expertise, and tailored solutions, Luba helps businesses protect what matters most. Discover more at lubawc.com. And by JP Morgan Chase, a partner in financial planning. Looking ahead to retirement, growing your business, or for commercial banking, JP Morgan Chase offers advice and solutions tailored to individual needs and client well-being. More information is at jpmorganchase.com. Mitchell Foreman wrote and performs all the music on Out to Lunch. You can hear Mitchell's music anywhere great jazz is sold or streamed, and at mitchellforeman.com.